Welcome to the Federal Communication Commission's webinar on the two Affordable Connectivity Program pilot programs, Your Home, Your Internet pilot program, and the ACP Navigator pilot program. I hope and expect that these pilot programs will increase awareness and enrollment in the Affordable Connectivity Program. Backed by $10 million in funding from the FCC, they are an important opportunity for community-based organizations with boots on the ground and relationships in their communities to help get Americans online and close the digital divide. So how will we do that? That's what the FCC's fantastic ACP team is here to discuss. You'll learn more about the application for the Your Home, Your Internet pilot program, which is a program focused on increasing ACP awareness and enrollment for recipients of federal housing assistance. You'll also learn more about the application for the ACP Navigator pilot program, which will support local third-party entities with access to the National Verifier to help consumers learn about ACP and complete their enrollment. Importantly, you'll hear also about how the Commission is backing up these pilot programs with significant funding. The pilot programs come with $5 million each in grant funding available to ensure that pilot participants can achieve the goals of the programs and help their local constituents. The window to file opens on November the 21st. I sincerely hope that you'll consider applying to one or even both pilot programs. While they share the same goal, they are complementary, and applicants may apply to one or, as I mentioned, to both. We need fantastic participants to help us spread the word about ACP and to increase broadband adoption among those eligible households, because while ACP has made a difference to nearly 14.7 million eligible households, we have many more eligible households that remain unserved. We must ensure that affordability is not a barrier to broadband. The benefits of being online are too important. Access to telehealth, employment opportunities, remote work, education, and entertainment are all requiring quality, high-speed broadband connections. Congress, in appropriating over $14 billion for the ACP, recognized this. Thanks to the ACP, when broadband is available for millions of eligible households, cost is no longer an issue. And so I'm calling on you to help spread the word and to empower households to take advantage. So why the pilot programs? Because you have the relationships in your communities. You're trusted and respected, and you can make a difference. Every time I've discussed the ACP awareness and enrollment with local leaders or participated in ACP enrollment events over the last number of months, one thread was consistent, and that is that we need to develop trust with eligible households. They need to trust that ACP is, in fact, a good program for them. Trust that having broadband will make a difference in their lives, and trust that they can sign up without putting themselves or their loved ones at risk. I've seen real success when an engaged local partner, be it a local housing authority, a nonprofit supporting households receiving federal housing assistance, or a local public library providing those digital navigator services, is there to answer those questions and support an eligible household, calm their fears. We are investing $10 million in these pilot programs to empower you to go into those communities and experiment. Be creative, be bold. Together, we'll learn what works, what doesn't. And then we can expand those lessons from these pilot programs nationwide as we continue to fight to close the digital divide, ensure digital equity, and empower Americans nationwide with broadband access. This webinar will walk you through the actual application for the pilot programs, including screenshots and specific information that you'll need to provide as part of the application. It also gives information about the separate process applicants will undergo to file for funding through a notice of funding opportunity that will be released soon. I'm grateful that you're here and for your support of ACP and your communities already. So many of you are already out there spreading the word, making a difference. I deeply hope that the pilot program applications you'll learn about here today supercharge these efforts to fantastic results. Thank you and good luck with your applications. I'll be rooting for you and your success and look forward to teaming up with you to support your efforts once the pilot programs begin. Thank you. Be safe and be well.
The purpose of this video is to assist prospective applicants for the Affordable Connectivity Program pilot programs by providing a walkthrough of the basics of the application for the Affordable Connectivity Program pilot programs. Before turning to the ACP pilot programs application, I will provide some background on the Affordable Connectivity Program and the Affordable Connectivity Program pilot programs. The Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP, is a Federal Communications Commission program that provides a discount on monthly broadband bills for qualifying low-income households. Eligible households can receive an up to $30 per month discount for broadband service and associated equipment rentals, an up to $75 per month discount for households on tribal lands, and a one-time discount for $100 for a laptop, desktop, or tablet purchased through a participating provider. Participating consumers must pay a copay of more than $10 but less than $50. For more information on the Affordable Connectivity Program, please visit fcc.gov/ACP. The FCC has created two one-year pilot programs, the Your Home, Your Internet pilot program and the ACP Navigator pilot program, that are designed to increase awareness of and facilitate enrollment in the Affordable Connectivity Program and to provide consumers assistance with ACP applications. The Your Home, Your Internet pilot program is specifically focused on increasing awareness of the ACP, specifically among recipients of federal housing assistance, for example, the Housing Choice Voucher Program, public housing, and project-based rental assistance. The Your Home, Your Internet pilot program is open to federal agencies and state, local, and tribal housing agencies, including housing authorities. These organizations may partner with tenant associations and nonprofit and community-based entities that provide ACP-related or other support for federal housing assistance recipients. The Commission established the ACP Navigator pilot program to provide trusted, neutral third-party entities, such as schools, school districts, or other local or state governmental entities, access to the National Verifier for purposes of assisting consumers with applying for the Affordable Connectivity Program. For additional information on the ACP pilot programs, including the relevant orders, public notice, and other guidance documents, please visit fcc.gov/ACP-pilots. Funding is not automatically provided for these pilot programs. However, eligible applicants can apply for a grant from the FCC to support outreach for the pilot program activities. The FCC expects to release the relevant notice of funding opportunity in November. The application deadline and the link for accessing the application will be posted at fcc.gov/ACP-pilots. We strongly encourage applicants to submit their application in advance of the deadline. Before you can begin your application for the ACP pilot programs, you will need to register to access the Affordable Connectivity Pilot Programs application portal at https://forms.universalservice.org/ACP-pilot-programs/register. Detailed information on the registration process will be available in the application instructions for the Affordable Connectivity Pilot Programs at www.fcc.gov/ACP-pilots. After you complete the registration process, to start an application, you will first log into the application portal at https://forms.universalservice.org/portal/login. After you log in, click on Start New Application in the upper left-hand corner to the right of the dashboard button. After you click Start on a new application, you will see the Applicant Information screen where you will enter information about the organization submitting the application. If your organization is partnering with another organization, on this screen you will provide this information for the eligible public or governmental entity and not the nonprofit or community-based organization you are partnering with for the pilot program or programs. Specifically, type in applicant entity name. For applicant address, type in street and city, select state or territory from the drop-down list, and type in your 5-digit zip code. For applicant contact, type in a name, title, 10-digit phone number, and email address for the contact person for the application. Then click Save and Continue. After you click Save and Continue, you will next see the Applicant Details screen. Here, please select the program or programs for which your organization is applying. Your Home, Your Internet Pilot Program, ACP Navigator Pilot Program, or both. After you have made your selection, click Save and Continue. You will next be prompted to provide more information about the organization submitting the application. The screens you will see next will vary depending on the pilot program or programs for which your organization is applying. If you only selected the Your Home, Your Internet Pilot Program, you will choose the relevant organization type from the following: Federal Housing Entity, State Housing Entity, Local Housing Entity, Tribally Designated Housing Entity, or TDHE, or Other. If selecting Other, please type your description. If you only selected the ACP Navigator Pilot Program, under Applicant Entity Type, you will choose the relevant organization type from the following: Public School or School District, State or Community Institution of Higher Learning, State or Community Library, State Government Entity, Local Government Entity, Tribal Government Entity, or Other. If selecting Other, please type in your description. If you selected both pilot programs, please enter the applicable entity type from the options previously noted. After you complete the applicant entity type section or sections, click on Save and Continue. On the next screen, you will be asked whether your organization intends to partner with a non-government partner for your proposed pilot activities. If so, you will be asked to provide information about the partner organization. For the question, do you intend to work with a non-government partner for your proposed pilot activities, please select Yes or No. If you select Yes, you will be asked to provide the name and contact information for each non-governmental partner organization. You may add contact information for multiple non-government partners if applicable. Specifically, you must provide a partner organization name, a partner contact title, a 10-digit partner contact phone number, a partner contact address with street, city, state, or territory selected from the drop-down list, and a 5-digit zip code, as well as a partner contact email address. If you select Yes and are applying for the Your Home, Your Internet Pilot Program, or both pilots, you will also be asked to indicate the partner organization type for each partner from the following options: nonprofit or community-based organization working with participants in federal housing assistance programs, on-site coordinator working with participants in federal housing assistance programs, tenant association, or Other. If selecting Other, please type in your description. If you are applying for the Your Home, Your Internet Pilot, you will provide the following information about each non-governmental partnership: a description of each partnership, including information about the partnering organization or organizations, a description of the nature of the partnership or partnerships, and any prior experience that the partnering organization or organizations have performing outreach to federal housing assistance recipients. This field is limited to 4,000 characters. If you are applying for the ACP Navigator Pilot, you will provide the following information about each partner: description of the partnership, including a description of the nonprofit partner's role in the geographic areas and with the constituents the governmental entity applicant is applying to serve through the pilot, information demonstrating the nonprofit's neutrality with respect to broadband service providers. This field is limited to 4,000 characters. The Service Details section of the application requests information about the geographic areas and constituencies to be served and the applicant's role in the community it serves. For geographic areas to be served, you will indicate the geographic area or areas to be served, including city or cities, county or counties, and state or states. If applicable, please also list the specific housing project or projects to which the applicant plans to target its outreach activity or activities. For description of geographic areas served, you will select the applicable description for the geographic areas to be served by your proposed pilot activities. Click on all applicable descriptions: rural, urban, tribal, or other. If selecting other, please type your description. For constituencies to be served, you will select the applicable description of constituencies to be served by your proposed pilot activities. Click on all applicable descriptions. Federal housing assistance recipients, persons who live on tribal lands, persons who live in rural areas, persons with disabilities, persons of color, other persons who are or who have been historically underserved, marginalized, or adversely affected by persistent poverty or inequality. If selecting this option, please type your description. Or other. If selecting other, please type in your description. For estimated number of individuals to be engaged and percentage that may be eligible for the ACP, you will provide the estimated number of individuals the applicant intends to engage through proposed pilot activities and the estimated percentage of those individuals that may be ACP eligible. For applicant's role in the community, you will describe the applicant's role in the community in which it serves, including but not limited to a description of the applicant's purpose or mission, the impact in the community the applicant intends to serve, and prior experience with assisting low-income consumers with benefit programs. For activities applicant intends to conduct through the pilot, you will indicate the activities the applicant proposes to conduct through the pilots. Select one or more of the following options: creation of new promotional materials, hands-on application assistance, site-based outreach, or other. If selecting other, please describe. Note that hands-on ACP application assistance will be required for applicants seeking to participate in the ACP Navigator pilot program. After you've completed the questions in the Service Details section, click Save and Continue. In the Proposal Details section of the application, you will provide narrative responses to additional questions concerning your proposed pilot activities, and you will also indicate whether you intend to seek grant funding from the FCC for your pilot program activities, and if so, how much. The proposal details questions include an explanation describing the strategies you intend to use to reach low-income consumers eligible for the Affordable Connectivity Program, a description of any prior experience your organization has performing outreach to low-income households. Your home, your internet pilot applicants will need to describe any outreach experience with federal housing assistance recipients. Each projected outcome, subsequent milestones that will be met, an estimated timeline. A description of how the proposed pilot project could benefit other entities looking to assist low-income households and could generate best practices and lessons learned. A description of how your organization intends to track, evaluate, or measure the success of activities conducted. The grant funding questions include: do you intend to apply for a grant to fund pilot program or programs outreach activities through the Affordable Connectivity Outreach Grant Program pilot programs? Select yes or no. If you select no to this question, click Save and Continue. If you select yes to this question, you will see a few additional questions. Is your participation in either of the pilot programs contingent on receipt of a grant through the Affordable Connectivity Outreach Grant Program pilot programs? Select yes or no as applicable. How much grant funding are you seeking for the proposed Your Home, Your Internet pilot project? You will enter the total amount if applicable. How much grant funding are you seeking for the proposed ACP Navigator pilot project? You will enter the total amount if applicable. Applicants seeking grant funding will also need to enter the following numbers: the applicant's 10-digit FCC registration number, or FRN, the applicant's 12-digit Unique Entity Identifier, or UEI number, obtained through sam.gov. Information on obtaining an FCC registration number and a Unique Entity Identifier can be found in the FCC's October 2022 public notice at fcc.gov/acp-pilots. Then click Save and Continue. In the supporting documentation section, applicants may upload documentation and any attachments to provide additional information on any of the fields included in the application form or to assist the FCC with review of the application. You also have the opportunity to request that your application be kept confidential. If you are requesting confidential treatment of some or all of your application, please select Yes. Otherwise, select No. If you select Yes, you must submit a request pursuant to the Commission's rules and upload your confidentiality request in the supporting documentation section of this application. Your request must provide information to support your request for confidential treatment. The full requirements for requesting confidentiality are outlined in Title 47 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 0.459 of the Commission's rules. Applicants seeking grant funding should note that even if they request confidentiality, federal regulations require federal awarding agencies to announce all federal awards publicly and to publish the required information about the award on a publicly available designated website. Select Yes or No for this question. Then click Save and Continue. In the certification section, you are required to check boxes for 3 certifications. You must check all 3 boxes. That you are authorized to submit the application on behalf of the organization listed in the application. That all information contained in the application and in any attachments is true and correct. That if selected, the organization named in the application will comply with all applicable rules, requirements, and procedures for the pilot program for which the organization has been selected, including but not limited to the registration requirements for individuals who are granted access to the National Verifier, the Affordable Connectivity Pilot Program's service provider neutrality requirements, and the prohibition against gifts or other incentives from a participating provider for pilot program activities. After reading and checking the certifications, type in your name, organization, and title, and click Certify. When you see the Application Submitted screen, you have successfully submitted your application. You may click Close to exit. After you submit your application, the applicant contact person will also receive a confirmation email with the application number. Please note that submitting the ACP Pilot Program's application in this portal does not satisfy all of the requirements to be considered for grant funding for pilot program activities. If you are seeking grant funding for your pilot program activities, you must also submit the required grant forms and budget information in grants.gov by the deadline. The Notice of Funding Opportunity for grant funding for the ACP pilot programs to be released in November will indicate the specific materials that you must submit in grants.gov and the deadline for submitting the required grant forms. If you are seeking grant funding from the FCC for your pilot activities, you will need to provide your ACP Pilot Program's application number, beginning with ACP, when you submit the required forms through grants.gov. For further information and updates on the ACP Pilot Programs, please visit fcc.gov/acp-pilots. For technical questions relating to the ACP Pilot Program application, you can email acprogram@usac.org. For programmatic questions related to the ACP Pilot Program application, you can email acp-pilots@fcc.gov. For questions relating to the grant funding for ACP Pilot Program activities, you can email acpgrants@fcc.gov.